Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ray Dolan from Mullingar in Mullingar, promoting what's good and great about our town, our people and our business. Our show today is called the 12 Bongs, and we do it every 5 days. And we have some special guests on sometimes, and we had some special guests on the bus session yesterday. But today we have a special guest. His name is Donal Lawler. He worked for Trend Technologies for 30 years, and now he's the president of the Rotary Club here in Mullingar, and I'm delighted to have him on board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off the bongs, and I'm going to give him 6 bongs because we've been practicing it all morning since he arrived. So I'm going to go 1 bong, 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 bong. And Donal Lawler, can I have 6 bongs from you, sir?
Bong, 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 bong.
Amazing, Donal. The practicing we done all morning, especially for the show, it turned out very well.
Not too bad. Yeah.
Donal, it's great to have you on board. How I actually got in contact and how we met was actually through your retirement of Trend Technologies here in Mullingar. You were here 30 years with Trend Technology, and we were asked by one of the boys down there to put a video together. And the only thing I can say about the video is the amount of love and respect for you down in that shop and that industry down there was huge. Do you miss it?
It's a difficult question, really, because I'm retired now and I don't miss work. But
Right.
I do miss the people, and I'm in touch with a lot of the people still, you know. We still have a lot of goodwill there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And you've moved on now and you're with the Rotary Club here in Mullingar. I think after retirement you said to yourself, I'd say to anyone I meet, I ask, what are you going to do now? What did you do when you retired?
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't do very much. One of the things that I have been doing before I retired was I've been doing a course with the Open University in literature and creative writing. And so I've continued that, and that's going back to my first love, because even though I was qualified as an accountant, I really would have preferred to pursue something in the world of books and that, you know. So I kind of gone back to that, and I'm just now in the last stage. I'm doing my last module this year, and maybe next year I can go and get the little cap and gown.
With this now, are you going to start writing, or what direction will you take after doing this?
And I'm just kind of I'll be doing more kind of memoir sort of style writing, I think, you know. I won't be getting too creative. I have written a few poems and short stories, you know, but they're all kind of about things we know about, you know. You just change the names and the addresses slightly, and yeah.
Memoirs. So you're going to go around collecting stories, are you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, well,
Or your own memoir?
My own memoir. I think it's just kind of memories, and just it's nice to write things down about, you know, your family and things like that, and send it off to your family, just to say, well, you know, what do you think of this? Do you remember? Is that how you felt about some things? You know, I wrote a little piece about my mother when she died in 2019, and just kind of memories of her over the years, from being a child right through to when she died in the nursing home back then, you know. So I sent it off to my family, and some of them were. The tears were coming, you know, so it must have worked.
You connected well.
Yeah.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from a place called Kentstown in County Meath, just
That's-
the far side of Navan.
That's right. I played in the pub a few times there.
Yeah, Maguire's.
Maguire's.
Yeah.
Great family pub, and
Yeah.
Kentstown was at that time it was sort of starting to grow, and I'd say it's quite big now. Have you been back?
Oh, I have been back, yeah, but I wouldn't recognise it, and they wouldn't recognise me. No, I do have my family. My family still live there. I have 2 brothers who live there, and my cousins all live around the parish and that. So I've been back in that, but there's a big kind of suburban little enclave there of Dublin people who've come down to live there, because it's 24 miles from Dublin, you know. So we always thought it was a long way away when we were growing up, but now it's only 20 minutes up the road, you know. So
Exactly, and the Navan is not too far away. But as you grew up, I can always feel when I think of the pub, and I think of the church, and I think of the long road.
yeah.
They're things that stick in my mind,
Yeah.
and it was starting to grow at that time. But if you went back to the time, well, if you went back 50 years, it would have been very isolated. It would have been far away from Dublin and Navan.
Yeah, no, it was. It was just kind of a rural farming community, you know.
And was your family farmers?
Yeah, they were. I mean, I've looked at the family tree, as people do when they get into their 60s, and you can trace our family back to 1815, because, well, that's the reason why it's 1815 is because the baptismal records are there since 1815. So on both sides of the the family, our ancestors go back to that parish, you know, and so it's been great just kind of trying to trace all them and see the different connections and that, you know. So like there's one family of people who are second cousins on my mother's side, but they're also third cousins on my father's side, you know. So this is, I think, not unique among Irish families, you know. So
Exactly. And growing up at that time in Kentstown, so would you have collected spuds and done all them things that kids would have done?
no, well, I would have been working on the dairy farm, and like, you know, from the time I was about 6 or 7, my job was feeding the calves, you know. But it wasn't as if I loved feeding the calves. It was just you had to do it, you know. There was no alternative. And then milking cows and making hay, and it was kind of 365 days a year, really, you know.
And from there, then you finished school. Where'd you head then?
I went to the regional college in Dundalk, and I had a kind of funny story, because my English teacher in school was talking to us one day and said, "What are you going to do when you leave school?" And I was very interested in the English now. Sorry about this now, Ray.
No problem. No. Do you want to answer it?
No, but and she said, what are you going to do when you leave school? And I said, I don't know.
Yeah.
And she says, "You should do a profession." She said, accountancy or something.
Right.
So anyway, I didn't have marks to get into university or anything like that. So anyway, the regional college had just opened in 1971, and they were canvassing for students.
Wow.
So in 1972, I went to Dundalk and I did business studies there, and I went with a few people, like a shared house with people from Kentstown, you know, that had gone there as well. So from there, I did the business studies, and then I went to Dublin to get a job, and I got a job working for Beecham's, which is used to make Lucozade, Beecham's powders to be more known for, but used to make Lucozade and Ribena.
Yeah.
And so I trained, and I did my night study, my the correspondence courses, and eventually got my qualification as an accountant. But I got other things from Beecham's as well, like a wife, because my wife worked there for 9 months.
Fantastic.
Before she went off to become a nurse, and we started going out then, and we got married in 1983.
You got to Mullingar then, was that from Beecham's to Mullingar?
Yeah. I'd worked 14 years there, and then came to Mullingar, worked 30 years here, so then I had enough of working. So, but I mean, that was it was just a kind of it was hard to get jobs in those. I needed to get promotion, because where I was, the boss wasn't going anywhere for another 20 years, you know. So if I wanted to get promotion, I had to move, and there weren't many opportunities. But when I saw this opportunity came up, we decided to move. And my wife had kind of had even though she's from Dublin, she had spent a lot of her summers in Wexford, and because liked to be out in the countryside and all of that sort of thing. So it wasn't so big an adjustment for her. And then, of course, later on, they started to build better roads to Dublin as well, so we didn't feel so isolated, you know.
Exactly. So you moved to Mullingar, and was it Trend Technologies at that time?
Data packaging.
Data packaging, wow. Yeah. So you brought it the whole way through. Would the companies change, or is it just a change of the name?
No, the ownership changed.
Right.
Yeah, a couple of times.
And as well as that, then you had a few kids here in Mullingar.
Oh, we had 2 when we came down.
Mm-hmm.
We had a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old when we came down. And we were given the luxury of, we had to finish the job in Beecham's on Friday, had a party.
Right.
And Pettits from Granard came up with a van on Saturday morning to move us down to Mullingar.
Wow.
And then we started the job on Monday.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that was, there was a lot of, that was just the way we did things, you know. And so we started with the 2 kids and that, you know. So. And then we had 2 other children. One of them was born in Hollis Street, and the other was born in Mullingar here, you know. So.
Brilliant. And then you retired, and you got sick.
Aye.
Oops a daisy. That's so.
Yeah, it wasn't in the plan.
Yeah, because some people, like, you work all your life, and then you get to the age, and then you go, oops, boom, good luck, goodbye.
I know. Well, it didn't get totally to that stage, but almost. You know. So and last March, when the COVID had started, you know, I had been 1 or 2 places in that, but I wasn't feeling great. Like at one stage, I was at a little meeting, and I just got up and left. I said, I'm not feeling good, and so I came home, and I was kind of sweating and that, you know. So anyway, we just monitored. My wife is a nurse, which is always a benefit.
Very handy. Yeah.
So she monitored the situation. My temperature was over 40 degrees, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of, I wasn't lying in bed or anything, but I was kind of very sweaty, and you know, I kind of feel kind of a raspiness in my chest and that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't getting any better. And then the doctors were kind of, you know, saying you have to call them and see. They said, oh well, you're not, can you walk across the room? I says, yeah. And so can you finish the sentence? Yeah. So they said, oh, you're not too bad. Just sit it out. So then when Lomans opened their test centre on the 18th of March, and I was one of the first people in there.
Right.
But on the 19th, I kind of, you know, deteriorated a lot. And my wife got this pulse oximeter from next door. They had one for measuring your blood oxygen saturation, which I know all about now. I didn't know them. And she measured me, and it was supposed to be, you know, between 95 and 100, and it was 78.
Right.
And she rang the doctor, and the doctor said, well, maybe that's not working. I don't trust those things. Then she tested on herself, and she was 98, you know.
Right,
So
it's definitely working.
She eventually was advised to bring me into the casualty, you know, and then before the results came back from Lawlor, I was on the ventilator.
Wow. They induced sort of the coma and then sent you off on a mission. How many days were you in space?
Well, I was on the ventilator for 32 days.
Wow.
Yeah, but most of the last week or two, I wasn't sedated anymore, but I had the tubes down my throat, so I couldn't. I knew what was going on around me, but I couldn't speak. You know, so that was kind of
debilitating, as say, and when you're used to talking all your life up until now, and then someone says, no, you can't talk, but you'll be there lying in the bed.
Yeah.
So that was sort of a big shock, and all your family is all over the world at this stage.
Yeah, well, they were. Like, I had a son in Singapore, one in Scotland, one in Sligo, and one daughter in Germany.
Wow.
And they had all plans. Daughter in Germany was getting married in April of last year, and the son in Singapore was getting married in September of last year. So they had all their plans made, and things didn't kind of go towards plan, you know. So.
Brilliant. It knocked you out altogether. I remember seeing you walking in and out the road and saying, poor man's taking the fair hammer in there. Yeah. But you're back and you're looking fantastic again. You're on all the all the engines are running.
Yeah. No, I'm good now. You know? So I haven't to go back for any other tests on it. They said there was some damage to my lung, but I don't feel it in any way. I'm able to do anything I could do beforehand, except I'm now a year and a half older.
Excellent, exactly. Well, the whole country and the world is as well. The other thing is you're involved in the Rotary Club here in Mullingar. The Rotary Club, what I remember is Christmas trees with the Rotary Club at Christmas, and there's a huge big Christmas tree that you put up, and I think there's names tied to it or something like that.
Yeah. No, we do the Remembrance tree at Christmas in conjunction with North West Meath Hospice, and we basically ask people to remember somebody they know who maybe has died either during the year or somebody was close to them, you know. So they come along and they put a ribbon on the tree, and then we collect money, which is, you know, given for Rotary causes and also for the North West Meath Hospice, you know. So they provide a great service around. You know, I think everybody appreciates the service they provide. So that's been going well. And
you're the president. How did you manage to do that? You're in 5 minutes.
Well, I was only joined it in 2018, but last year after I came out from hospital, we only had one meeting in person last year.
Right.
And that was the annual general meeting to elect a new president, and I think I must have got the sympathy vote for this.
So you're in the door now, and you're doing some work for Lebanon or something like that?
Yeah, no, we're doing a few things. We're trying to, get involved in a few different programs. So one of the things that Rotary is kind of a global organisation, but in Ireland they have quite a lot of activities going on, and one of them is this youth leadership development program. You know, so it's aimed mainly at people in transition year. So we've involved the 4 local schools now, and we're going to have some of the students interviewed, you know, to end their leadership skills, and we'll send one person from the club towards the final. I think there are 24 people then who are selected from all Ireland, and they go on a program which takes them to the Dáil, to Stormont, and in previous years to Strasbourg at the European Parliament. But this year the Strasbourg Parliament is not going ahead, but there's other activities for them, so it'll be a great program. So the program is to find leaders or to encourage leadership? Encourage leaders and to get them to network with other people with leadership skills and that, you know. So there'll be 24 of them will spend, you know, I think this year they'll spend 2 days in Belfast and 3 days in Dublin together, you know, so they kind of, hone their skills, I think, in that regard.
Well, all I can say is they're very lucky that you're on board, because you're, as I say, as far as I'm concerned, you're a legend, as I say, in the Midlands. And you're very approachable, and you're very, very easy to talk to. And as I said, the amount of respect and the amount of people that show great love towards you on your retirement, and I say, very good friends. We ran around and we got messages from everyone, and it was like, we done it in about an hour and a half, and there was no messing around. Everyone was saying, yes, I'll do that. So look, thank you very much for being on board, Donal. Really, really appreciate taking the time to join us. And as I say, if anyone wants to get in contact with Donal, you can get you through the Rotary Club, or what else? LinkedIn, are you still on them? LinkedIn and all them things. So there you are. Thanks a million, Donal. Okay. And we'll just turn our cameras around. Well, there you are, folks. I'm absolutely knocked out to chat to this man, and it's great to have him on board. He's, as I said, he's just a legend, as I say. So once again, to all our friends who are looking in, thank you for being on board. Now we have, just to do a little quick run through of all the information that we have here for you as well. We'd like to thank Anne Boyan, who introduced the show, and she's living in England now, and a big shout out to you. And as well as that, the show is coming to you in association with the Annabrook Hotel, bringing you the 12 Bongs. We were down there last night chatting to the boys on the way from Dublin to Donegal. So the best of luck to you boys as well. And birthday shout outs, we have Kenny Maguire. Kenny Maguire, Ireland. I like the way he puts that. He's from Letterkenny, and he does a lot of work with his brother as well. He's the brother who does the cooking, and Kenny does all the work. He does all the background and the videos and setting up the stage. And happy birthday to you, sir. And Ray Coffey, who is in Kilkenny. Happy birthday to you. And Dan Gorman, who's in Tullamore, happy birthday to you. We have Packy Markey, and it's your birthday. And as well as that, we have Amanda Kennedy, who's in Roscommon. Happy birthday to you. We have Nadia, who's in Quebec, which is that away. Happy birthday to you. And Mary Cook, who's in London. It's your birthday. And Vanessa Brennan, it's your birthday. So happy birthday to you all. Don't forget, folks, you want to join us on board the bus to tell your story, promote your business, you're very, very welcome to do so. And once again, thanks for sending in all your information that we share on our platform. Big shout out to my good friend Ken Smullen, who is doing a massive job along with his volunteer team, and what they're doing is helping children go to school full. Yes, not hungry, full with the food, because he's collecting dry food from all different places here in Tullamore and Mullingar. And if you go to Deals of Mullingar, you can buy something, put it in the little box, and Ken and his crew will collect that. Big shout out once again to the lads Dublin to Donegal, and they are on their Facebook page, and it's all associated with the hashtag for Shamey. And Shamey passed away, and they're making wishes for other children now at the moment. And as well as that, our food shout out competition winner is Rochford's Superstore, and our Facebook page recommendation is Gaelscoil on Culleen. Check out their page, there's always something interesting. And as well as that, our shop local pick of the day is Sophie's Soaps, and a local girl put a business together, and now she's rocking it all over the world. Our Raharney United AFC had their 50-50 lotto winner last night. It was Ger Boyle, and he picked up €280, so it's well worth checking out. It's on Facebook, and it's very easy to get involved, and they can send you the money as well. And the seller of that was David Raleigh, so big shout out to you, David, and well done for supporting your Raharney United AFC. Clucan GAA lotto jackpot is €13,000. And let me see, last night the numbers were picked. There were 10, 16 and 17 and 18. And you know what? There was no winner. So it continues on, and it's €13,000 again. Did I say 1,300? 13,000. And as well as that, Anne Gilligan, she picked up €70 online, and Catherine Darby, she picked up €70 online, and Hilary Mullen, she picked up 70 quid as well, and they all matched 3 numbers. And the Downs GAA Monday jackpot next week is 9,100. And as well as that, the Carlstown Kinnegad GAA Lotto jackpot, which was on Tuesday last night, and the numbers were 3, 7, 22 and 29. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, there was no winner. And Rose Farley and Barry Collins and Eileen Glynn and Katie Connor won €50, and Katie Connor won it online. So once again, folks, this is Ray Dolan with the 12 Bong Show with my special guest, Donal Lawler, and we're just going to turn our cameras around and wish you a super day. Bye for now.
Bye.